When the project is started, when we just build a team of programmers, everybody is so excited about that. We like the technologies, we find the problem the project is going to solve so challenging. We see our future connected with the results of this project. We commit full time, we want to commit full time. It happens to everybody in most cases. Most projects are, when they start, they sound interesting. But it won't last for too long. This internal motivation, which so many books are writing about, saying that programmers have to be internally motivated when they work in some software project, it doesn't last for long. It doesn't stay with us for months or for years. It stays for a few months, depending on the project, because the majority of projects are not as successful as they are expected to be. They do not produce the results they're initially planning to produce. It's not fair to expect everybody to be equally interested to stay in the project and contribute as they were on the first day and in a year. So what happens in the reality is that people quit and they change projects. If you look at the statistics, an average time a programmer stays in a software project is about 1 year. So we move from project to project mostly because of this, losing of the motivation and losing interest of being there. I was working as a programmer on contracts and as a full-time employee a number of times in my life. And I remember that feeling that when you join in, you're full of enthusiasm and you want to be there, and then in some time your enthusiasm just degrades and eventually you just don't understand what are you doing there. In Theocracy, it's a completely different approach. We treat programmers as equal partners of the project. We are all about fair exchange and fair trade with them. They have their time, we have the money. When they want to work, when they want to contribute, when they feel like it, when they feel that they are interested in this exchange, that this is the right moment for them to give their time and get back the money, they stay in the project. And they make that decision every day, not even every day, but every single task, which happens multiple times a day. We delegate them and trust them single, small, individual pieces of work, which we call tasks, micro tasks actually. We give them micro tasks and we expect them to make a decision whether those micro tasks are interesting for them or not. If the task is not interesting, if they don't have enough motivation to do that particular task, they just reject it. We don't blame them for those decisions. We don't expect them to accept every single task we give them. We don't expect them to be responsible. We don't expect them to be committed to the project. We don't expect them to be loyal to the project. They can quit any moment of time. They can reject any task they like. They are their own bosses, their own managers in each particular piece of work. There are no bosses in our case. There are no employers. There are no managers. There is just a computer which distributes tasks among programmers and lets them make their own decisions about which tasks they want to complete and which tasks they don't want to complete. First of all, we want them to be selfish. If you don't, that's what we're telling them. If you don't like the task, if you don't find good reasons to work in that project, if you're not getting enough money, if you don't like the environment, if you don't like the set of technologies, just quit or change something or complain about tasks you're getting or reject them. Keep asking that question to yourself. Why are you doing these tasks? And in each task, don't do it if you don't like it. And because we're paying per tasks in our micro budgeting model. As you know, we just pay them when they actually deliver something per each individual task. So if there's nothing delivered, we don't pay anything. We don't even need to teach them to be selfish. They are selfish because they are getting money when they deliver the results. So there is no reason for them to jump into the task and do the task if they are not sure that they can achieve the results and they can get the money. And the best programmers who work with us, They're very selfish people and very successful. They deliver a lot of results, they contribute a lot to the project, they're getting a lot of the money back from projects, and our customers are very happy about those particular people. Second, we want them to be greedy. We want them always to demand as much as they can from us. I mean, money-wise. So we want them to want more money. So we, on our side, demand them to work at the full speed. We don't make compromises. We don't allow them to deliver us anything aside from the perfect, from the highest quality. And we ask them, demand back from us the biggest amount of money you can. When they try to make more money, when they try to close more tasks, to report more bugs, to review more pull requests, to contribute back to us in order to make more money, it's only profitable for us because the project gets more from them. So their greediness is a positive trait in our situation, in our model. While many other software development models would consider greediness as a negative quality of people, in our case it's a positive quality. It's something we want to see in our programmers. When somebody joins us and those person very altruistic and not greedy and ready to do a lot of work for free because they are used to work in the traditional organizations which encourage people, to be altruistic, they can't work with us because we don't appreciate that altruism at all. We don't appreciate people who are ready to contribute without giving anything back, without seeing the real results of their contribution. We want to work with people on fair conditions. You give us something, we give you something back. That's the philosophy. And that philosophy really helps the project to move forward way faster and with way bigger results. We use every single dollar way more effectively than you can use in any other systems aside of Theocracy. Because every dollar, our programmers, they earn them, really earn by making code. And number three, we want them to be lazy. We want them to work only when it's required to do. For example, we tell them, don't write unit tests if you're not asked to do that. Don't do so-called gold plating, so don't introduce new features when those features are not required. Don't polish your code unless the quality checks are asking you to do that. Don't fix the bug if you're not assigned to that bug, if you're not paid for fixing that bug. Don't report the bug if we don't pay you for that report. Don't say anything. Don't participate in meetings. Don't answer any calls. Don't help anyone unless you're specifically assigned to those tasks and you're specifically paid for that work. This may sound counterintuitive because we used to think that programmers must be helpful and everybody must be helpful to each other. That's how you help the project. But it's not true. We want that help to be under control. We want that help to happen when it's really needed and when it's really paid for by the customer. We give our programmers a motivational framework, so-called, which we call policy. And they rely on that policy and they know, according to that policy, what exactly is appreciated in the project, what exactly will be rewarded and how. So when they join the project, there is a policy. When there's a year of work already done in the project and they are in the project for a year, there's still the same policy. They still know what needs to be done in order to be rewarded for the contribution. We expect people who work in our projects to work for themselves, not for the client, not for the boss, not for the manager, not for the company, but work for yourself. That's how we're trying to teach our programmers. Work for yourself. Each piece of contribution you're giving to the project, each task, each bug report, each word you're giving to the project, ask yourself, is it worthwhile to do that? And if it is, go ahead. That's how we can achieve a manageability and real effectiveness of every single dollar we spend to develop the software.